Hello everybody and welcome to SnackTube. I'm going to be trying the final item in the Kershaws range that I bought from Farm Foods a few weeks ago. And it's probably the most basic one, but I figure we would just try it and see what it's like. So this is the Kershaws Classic Sausage and Chips with onion gravy and baked beans. Seems like they only know how to put meat in onion gravy, because I think the liver came in onion gravy and then the beef steak things came in onion gravy as well. So they seem to like their onion gravy at Kershaw's. Me, frankly, I could do without onion gravy, quite frankly. And also everything seems to come with beans. And, well, at least I like beans, that's something. So we have had various iterations of this stuff already. So we've had chips in one of the things. We have had beans already. That came with the breakfast and I think the steaklet. And then, of course, we've had the sausages before because they came with, well, one of them came with the breakfast, but it wasn't doused in this onion gravy. So that'll be the little bit of difference in this one compared to the other one. So yeah, not a lot to say about it, really, to be fair. We've tried a few of these before. They're all a bit pants. The steaklet one was quite nice. I enjoyed that. I would probably have that one again, but the rest of it was all a bit naff, especially the liver. That was absolutely revolting. So let's just go through our usual stuff here. You've got all your ingredients on the back there. I'm not going to go through all those, but it's all pretty typical stuff. Lots of preservatives, a lot of E numbers. So your nutrition information. Per meal cooked, 496 calories. That's okay for a meal, like a lunch or a dinner or something, so that's not too bad. Fat, 18 grams. 4.7 grams of that is saturates, which is about normal actually for the amount of calories it is. Carbs, 59.6 grams. Quite a lot of carbs, but you do have potato in here. 6.8 grams of that sugar. 10.8 grams of fibre. 18.9 grams of protein. And then 4.3 grams of salt. So very high in the salt. Definitely too high in the salt. That's 71.7% of your daily intake of salt, which is obscene. Everything else is around about where it should be. Sugar's quite low. So, yeah, not great. Bad in the salt department for sure. But overall not that bad, I suppose. And there you have your preview of some other meals. They've got a chicken curry with rice and chips. And steak pie and chips. Quite like to try the steak pie, see what a microwave steak pie tastes like. I think I've said that in another video. So yeah, here's what we've got then. I'll show it to you. So there's your serving suggestion, basically, on a plain white plate. Here's how I'm eating it. Still in the tray. So there it is. I don't want to tip it too much because the gravy, there's quite a lot of gravy and that's probably going to go everywhere. But it's fairly typical. You know, you got beans there, you got your chips, and you got your sausages. So I'm going to put a bit of salt on these chips because I've been eating them just plain before, and well, that's fine. We know what chips, microchips taste like. I want a bit of salt on them because that's how I would eat them anyway. Right, so let's give these the old taste test. Your chips. Bit chewy. Same as last time, you know, the chips aren't great. They're a bit chewy, and they've definitely been overcooked. You know, you do that took in the microwave altogether 10 minutes. You know, if you buy just microchips from the Iceland or whatever, they take like 2 minutes max, whereas these been in for 10 minutes. So they look really shriveled and they're just way overcooked and they're quite dry. So the chips aren't great. Maybe if you did them in the oven, because you can do this in the oven, it takes 25 to 30 minutes in the oven. Maybe if you do it in the oven, it's not that bad, but I'm not spending the time doing this in the oven. It's not worth it. Yes, I need that. Very dry. Alright, now the beans. Let's try the beans. To be fair, I mean, we've tried the beans in these meals twice already. They're, yeah, they're okay. They're actually alright beans. Slightly overdone, but they taste okay. Quite salty for beans, but they do taste nice. It's a bit high in the salt. Right, well, let's move on to the last thing then, because this is the one that I'm unsure about. So it's the sausages. The sausage that came in the breakfast was okay, bit spongy, but actually not that bad compared to some other microwavable sausages I've had. Or even just frozen oven sausages that I've had, to be honest. Like, have you ever had the Asda Smart Price ones? They're rotten. So they weren't too bad, but this is obviously filled with a gravy, so they're going to be more like stewed sausages, I'm assuming. So let's get one out here. It's funny that if you try and ladle it up with the gravy, get it coated in the gravy just all kind of slides off it. It's quite shiny. Right, there we are. There's our wee sausage. Let's give it the old taste test then, shall we? Very, very cheap. Which isn't a surprise. I mean, these are really cheap microwave meals. Very kind of foamy and spongy. Not the worst sausage I've ever had, granted. I really like a crispy skin on my sausages, which is why I fry them in a pan, or if you do them in the under the grill, you can get a nice crispy skin. Whereas this kind of goes a bit soft, which I'm not a huge fan of, really. Edible, sure. And a pinch, I can eat that, but it's yeah, texture wise it's not great. It's a bit foamy, bit cheap, but definitely not the worst cheap sausage I've had. I mean, that I can eat some, and it doesn't have like an artificially taste. I've had really bad sausages before, and they have a horrible sort of artificially aftertaste. That doesn't have that. It does kind of just taste like the pork of the sausage. I'm assuming it's pork. Pork 16%, chicken 15%, and pork rind, and all the lovely bone and sinew all mixed up and blasted into oblivion. Lovely rusk. So yeah, chicken and pork. You can kind of taste the pork. It's not too bad. The onion gravy. Oh, there, I've actually got a big pile of onions there. Here we go. I wish I hadn't got a mouthful of those onions. They're not great. Bit chewy. Onion gravy isn't very flavourful. It's a bit bland, so I could do without it, to be honest. Especially if I'm putting these on a plate. You know, if I'm putting these on a plate, I don't want this onion gravy touching my beans. I'm not a fan of the onion gravy, but it's there. Well, I think that'll do. I mean, it's again, it's not great. You know, none of these things were great. I did quite like the steaklet thing. I'm not complaining. I wouldn't complain about that one. I did quite like that. It was a lot nicer than I was expecting. But safe to say, I'm not really keen to buy the Kershaws, any of these Kershaw things again. You know, I've tried 4 of them. One of them was absolutely revolting. The breakfast one was basically rubbish. I mean, I can make a better breakfast, and I always have all the stuff in for a breakfast anyway. And this was bang average. I mean, it's sausage and chips. I could make sausage and chips myself. You know what I mean? It's not hard. So yeah, nothing fantastic. I mean, if you're old or if you're disabled, maybe quite accessible, because you can just kind of chuck them in the microwave, or just chuck them in the oven if you prefer, whatever way around you want to do it. So for people that have problems with actual doing real cooking, yeah, I can see why you would want these, because there's quite a lot of different items in the range. They've got loads of different things you can try. I mean, there's, like I say, there's 2 things on the back there, the curry and the steak pie, 2 things of which I've not tried yet, and I've tried 4 of these already. So there's a very big range. They've got a lot of options. So I just wish the quality was a bit better. I suppose it's really cheap as well, so if you're like living on a really small budget, you know, if you're like a pensioner or something, then yeah, probably maybe it's the only thing you can afford to eat, which is a shame. A real damn shame, but that's what it is. So yeah, budget microwave meals, not great, but definitely a lot better than you would expect, and yeah, not nearly as bad as you would think. So not bad. Okay. I mean, I'll finish this because I'm hungry, but yeah, I personally wouldn't buy it again. Well, that'll do for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the wee bell to get notifications, and leave me a comment. Let me know if you tried anything in the Kershaws range, what's your favourite thing if you have one, and yeah, follow me on the social stuff. I've got TikTok, I've got Twitter, I've got Instagram. Mostly post on TikTok these days. I would definitely suggest going on there because I've got a lot of videos on there about stuff that I don't post on here, and it is all still food related and that, so definitely worth going and checking out the TikTok. But that'll do. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch you in the next video. I'll see you then. Have yourselves a fantastic day. Laters.